So to start out with, I've already painted my background and I've already transferred my image to my rock. Both of those steps I've done in separate videos that I will link in the description below. So I'm taking my Liquitex Black. This is an airbrush paint, but it's my favorite for outlining. And originally I was going to use this Holotype number 1, but I've recently purchased some nail dotting tools that had the metal ball at one end and paint brushes at the other end. And these paint brushes are awesome for small line, fine lining detail. So I'm going to show each stylus has a different size brush on the end. Some of them are longer and some of them are shorter. So some of them, like the real long ones, would be really good if you do landscaping, for doing grass and flowers, for tree limbs, the fine detail on tree limbs. Those brushes would be great for that. And I am going to ultimately choose one of the shorter brushes. Let's see, there's that really long one that would be great for landscaping. And then I'm going to go to a smaller one, and that's the one I'm going to ultimately end up using to do the lining detail for this flower, just so you can see how those paintbrushes work. So now if you'd like a file, which you can't see very well because it's done in white and this rock's background is, pretty light in color. But the traceable file is located over on my private Facebook group, which is linked down below, but it's Rockin' It with April May. Access to all of my traceable files. If for some reason you don't have Facebook, and you would like the traceable files, just email me. It's at AprilMayFineArts@gmail.com. That link is also listed below. And you can just email me for the file and I'll send it to you. I know not everybody has Facebook, but I want to make sure that everybody has access to the file if they want it. And I'm pretty shaky when I paint, so you may notice that on here that my lines don't look that great. I have to really kind of go back and forth over them to get them where I like them. That line. You can also go back with your background color and thin the line. Mistakes or areas that you're not happy with. I have to do it a lot on the condition of my hands, but in about 3.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Today's the 8th, October 8th, and my surgery. So my surgery is in 11 days. So I am having carpal tunnel release surgery done on my right hand, along with releasing the radial nerve as well on my right arm. And I'm hoping maybe that'll clear up some of the shaking. I don't know. I don't know if the shaking is attributed to that or not, but I'm just hoping the pain will go away, because it's incredibly painful for me to paint or even to design. So I'm just showing you the beginning of this in real time, but I am going to speed this up here in a minute, because you don't need to spend 30 minutes watching me draw out the paint, you know, do the outline of this rock. It's pretty straightforward. So here we're going to speed this up pretty soon. There we go. And again, the background is done with my new blending technique where I do use pouncers, but I double load them to get a really good transition between the three colors. If you want to see that, again, I have a video showing how I actually did it on this particular rock, and that is linked in the description below, or you can go to my channel and it'll be listed there. I also have a playlist for the how-to videos. It will be under there as well. And like I said, I also show how I transferred this image from my computer to my rock. I have an older video showing how to transfer an image from your computer, from a computer monitor. The new video I did I guess I did last week, was how to transfer from a tablet or a phone to your rock using particular software. So, and both of the softwares, either for iPhone or Android or iPad or tablets, whatever you have, either one, I have a free software that allows you to turn the image to copy, allows you to copy the image. One of the problems is when you go to put pressure on your pads, a lot of times it'll move the image. So I found 2 free apps that allow you to lock the image in place so that you can trace it and transfer it to your rock. Or you can freehand it. Or you can come up with your whole own design. But you are more than welcome to take my design and create your own rocks with it. I don't have an issue with that. Now I painted that bottom that bottom flower was supposed to be blue. In my original mock-up it was blue, but for some reason I had the rock upside down, I think, when I picked out my paints, and then when I turned it right side up, I had already put the magenta on my palette, and so I ended up painting the bottom flower, which is already in the pink background. I painted it magenta, and I didn't want the pink I didn't want the pink flower against the pink background, so I do actually go back and fix that. See, now I'm painting magenta in the blue. That's how my original design was. And then I'm going to turn the magenta flower at the bottom, I'm going to turn it blue. And then in my original design, I had a yellow flower in it, but I didn't want it against the yellow background. I wanted contrasting colors against each other. Not light colors. So I ended up turning the yellow flower orange on my design, and then this is an aqua. All of these paints are from Liquitex Basics. So now I'm using the Liquitex. This is primary blue. I do take that back. The orange was from Hobby Lobby's house brand. a fine touch, I think is what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. And then the centers of each flower I painted a different color. And then I used Hooker's Green for the leaves. So it was Quinacridone Magenta is the pink flower, Dioxazine Purple is the purple flower, the Aqua is the aqua colored flower, Cadmium Orange Hue was the orange flower, and Primary Blue is the blue flower, and Hooker's Green is the leaves. All of those are listed below in the description as well. So now I'm going over all of my flowers with coordinating glitter paint. And when I do the glitter paint, I don't brush it on. I kind of dab it on thick. I want a thick coating of the glitter. I find that sometimes when you brush it on, you'll have areas that are void of glitter. So I like to put it on really thick to make sure that every inch of that area has glitter in it. Now it looks like I'm like completely covering up the color, but that's because there's, I don't know if it's like a glue or something in there, but in that orange one, it will end up drying orange. They kind of go on a real cloudy color sometimes, depending on the base color. The orange goes on real cloudy. You can see the purple looks real cloudy as well, but that will actually dry a dark purple. And for the orange, I used a champagne. For everything else, I just used a glitter that's in the same color palette. I think this was Jelly Bean for the pink. And these are the Extreme Glitters by Folk Art, which are also listed below in the description. Now for the leaves, I did take some, this is Pearl-Ex, and I'm using, it's kind of a yellow green, and I'm going over the leaves with that Pearl-Ex. And you can get that off of Amazon. I have a link to it, and you get a bunch of different colors in that set. So I'm doing the leaves and the base of the two flowers that are tilted to the side where you can see the bottom of them. Now I'm just going to go in and clean up some of my lines. There's always a little cleanup to do. Sorry if you hear that. That's my bird making that noise. She's been pretty good through this whole recording. Normally I record in the morning because she's a lot more quiet in the mornings, but I just couldn't get to it this morning, so I'm doing it in the afternoon, and she's a little more active, and I have an African gray. And so she's been really good. I think now she's going to probably start talking and making noises, but hopefully not too bad. So there's the rock. Oh, here's the finished rock. I am going to show you that on the back of my rocks, I take Mod Podge and I put this is just a little printed piece of paper that just says AprilMayFineArt 2020 for the year. And I just glue that to the back, and then That way it's permanently attached when I resin the rock, which I am going to show you what the resined rock looks like, because the resin really makes that glitter pop in the Pearl-Ex. I just don't think the cameras ever give it. Yes, my lights are real bright too, but it's so pretty in person. So I hope you enjoyed this video and will give this rock a try, and I will see you in the next video.